welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and today I'm going to can okra pickles. Hello. Well, we've got some okra here, and my family all loves okra pickles except for Paul. Paul loves okra, but and he loves pickles, but he doesn't like okra pickles. So, I tried one recipe. I usually love Farm Journal's recipes. They're for old, type canning and pickling. But their particular okra recipe, when I tried it, it was too salty. So I found a Southern Living recipe, and that's the one that I'm going to use today. It's very, very simple. You can process these in a boiling water bath. Like all pickles, they are best if they can sit for a while before you eat them. But even our grandbabies love these. You can put hot pepper in them if you want. I don't. That way the children can eat them too. This recipe calls for 3 cups of vinegar. And I'm using white vinegar. And 4 cups of water. And I just use tap water. Our water's good here. It's a well water. It does have some minerals in it, mostly calcium, but it's pure water straight from deep underground wells. Our city, our little bitty town, it's provided by the town, but it comes out of the wells that are about 1.5 blocks from our house. So, and 1/4 cup of salt. And I'm using canning salt. A big reason to use canning salt is that way your measurements are always the same. Kosher salt, you're going to have less salt in a 1/4 cup than you would of canning salt. Okay, so there's a 1/4 cup of salt. Now then, I'm gonna warm this, and then once I get my jars filled, I've got my garlic cloves peeled, and to each jar I'm going to put 1 garlic clove, 1 teaspoon of dill seed, and 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And if you want to, you can put 1 hot pepper into each jar. I might do a few for one of my sons. My oldest son, he loves things hot. So I'm going to put these in before I put the okra in. And I prefer for packing okra pickles, these big mouth jars are really nice. I don't like them for a lot of things, but for pickles they're really good. 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. There we go. This is the okra that I'm canning is Clemson spineless. Now, some of you that follow me know that I grow a special heirloom kind of okra called that we call Charles Wright's, either big fat okra or or potbelly okra. I learned later that that's what he had called it was potbelly okra. And as you can see, this is huge. And these are still tender enough to eat. So they're big enough that you can actually stick a fork in a piece when you fry it up. And I'm going to dehydrate some of that later, and so I'll show you that in another little video. Okra actually dehydrates really well. It's amazing how easily it rehydrates, and you can use it just like fresh okra after that. So, a teaspoon of dill seed, not weed. If you have fresh dill, you could use I think a whole head of dill in one of these might be too much, but you could use some stems in there, and that would be a really nice addition. It always is. Okay, there we go. That, and a teaspoon of sugar. And the sugar just kind of cuts the vinegar a little bit. If you are doing without sugar on your diet, you can leave it out, and it's not going to hurt these pickles at all. It's not needed for preservation, and it's not even really for taste, but it kind of just cuts down the vinegar flavor taste just a little bit. Not quite, it makes them not quite as sour. Okay, there we go. Now then, I'm going to get this stuff all out of the way. Alright, I'm going to trim my okra. My okra's been washed and dried, and you want to leave the stem end on it. You don't want to cut that off, but where it's gotten dark, after picking, I just like to trim that up just to make it nicer. It makes them a little bit more uniform. And of course, some of them, they pull off long, so this is a good way to, and alternate them when you're putting them in. Put one way and one the other, and that way they'll pack in there a lot better. And these okra need to be young enough that you can that they're very tender. You don't want to use old woody okra. You can't make woody okra good again, and don't even try. Pickling it is not going to do the job. I put my long ones in first. I'm saving my shorter ones to kind of pack down in there. I've been having to save this up because we don't have. My dad grew this for me this year. Grew out my okra, and he had a few plants of this, but it doesn't. There we go. Okay. So there's not enough at one time that I'm picking of the spineless to make very many pickles. So I've been saving it up. So it's gotten a little bit dark in spots, but it's okay. It's still not mushy or slimy in any way. It's still good, and it'll make up just fine for us, for the family. If I were making these to sell, which I'm not, our farmer's market closed, and I don't produce foods for sale anymore. But if I were making it for sale, I would want to use the freshest okra that I could get my hands on, just because it looks so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and be packing these up, and then I will come back when I get my jars ready to pour my brine into. Okay, now I've got my jars all packed full, and you want them packed really full so that they're the okra won't fall out. I'm not going to turn it upside down because my spices will fall out, but anyway, you want your okra packed in there super tight, and that'll hold it down under the brine. And now I'm going to add the brine. I'm filling it up to within an inch of the top. Make sure I cover all the okra pieces. Now these cucumber pickles, it's a different processing thing, but these I'm just going to process in boiling water bath for 10 minutes, and fixing to put them in. I've got my water over there warming up, and I've added a little bit of vinegar to it because our water has, like I said, a lot of calcium in it, so I need a chelating agent in there so that it won't get white stuff all over my jars. Okay, now I'm just going to put my lids on and put the jars in the boiling water bath, and when it comes back to a boil, I'll bring I'll put my timer on and time it for 10 minutes, and then I'll be back and I'll show you the final result when I get ready to take them out. Thank you. All right, well, I've just taken these out, and I've got them sitting here getting ready to. I had to do it in 2 batches because one batch was too big to fit in my little pot. I'm just using a stock pot, but I put a folded up steamer basket down in the bottom of it for the jars to sit on. But anyway, these are ready to. Once they seal, they'll be ready to put in the cabinet for a couple of weeks, and then they'll be ready to eat. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and that you'll enjoy eating some pickled okra. Thanks. Bye. Hey, I'm canning some of the little. So it's show you now. I'm gonna can chilies on them 2 nights, and so we're all set for the